This is not self-help. This is self-exposure. What moves a human being? What causes action? Is it instinct? Is it emotion? Is it desire? Is it fate? Or is it something deeper? The Stoic answer is radical. Humans act because of interest, not impulse alone, not emotion alone, but because you agree internally with a judgment. That means this: before every action, there is a silent approval inside you, and that approval is where your freedom lives. Let's break it down in modern terms. You're scrolling late at night. You see something provocative. You click. You say, "I couldn't resist." Zeno, the father of Stoicism, would say, "No, you judged it as worth clicking. You approved it. You gave it assent. You weren't dragged by the impulse. You endorsed it." That changes everything, because if action follows assent, then you are not a victim of impulse. You are responsible for it. And responsibility is terrifying. Zeno's philosophy begins with a simple observation. Animals act by instinct. Humans act by reason. But here's the brutal truth. Most humans live like animals, reacting, chasing pleasure, avoiding discomfort, defending ego, seeking dominance. Zeno taught that the defining nature of a human being is rationality, not emotion, not appetite, not aggression, reason. If you are not using reason to filter your impulses, you are abandoning your nature. And abandoning your nature creates chaos. Look at modern life: outrage culture, comment wars, cancel mobs, road rage, addiction to validation. People say, that's just human nature. No, that is undisciplined impulse. Zeno would argue that true human nature is rational self-governance, and that is rare. Let's go deeper. Zeno believed that impulse, what the Greeks called horme, arises when we perceive something as good or bad. You see something, you judge it. You move toward or away from it. See food to judge it desirable to reach. See insult, then judge it harmful, then attack. See praise, then judge it valuable, then crave more. Impulse is not random. It is guided by your value system. So the real question becomes, what have you trained yourself to value? Money, attention, status, revenge, pleasure, comfort. If those are your highest goods, your impulses will always chase them, and you will call that personality. But Zeno would call it misalignment. Here's where it gets confrontational. You are not angry because someone disrespected you. You are angry because you judged respect as necessary for your worth. You are not jealous because someone succeeded. You are jealous because you judge their success as a threat to your identity. You are not addicted to your phone. You are addicted to the tiny hits of validation you have judged as meaningful. Impulse follows belief. If your beliefs are weak, your impulses will dominate you. That is the Stoic diagnosis. Zeno's revolutionary idea was this: before impulse becomes action, there is a moment of interest, a microsecond, a mental nod. Yes, this is good. Yes, this is bad. Yes, this deserves a reaction. That moment is your battlefield. Most people never see it. They believe emotion equals action. But Stoicism says, emotion presents, reason decides. If you train that moment, you train your life. Let's apply this to something real. You're in a relationship. Your partner doesn't respond to a message for hours. Impulse says, they're ignoring you. Something is wrong. Confront them. But what actually happened? An impression appeared. They don't care. You assented to it. You believed it. Impulse followed. Now imagine instead, the impression appears. You pause. You question it. Is this necessarily true? Is there evidence? Am I reacting from insecurity? Suddenly, impulse weakens. That pause, that rational examination, is Zeno's teaching in action. And that pause can prevent arguments, breakups, regret. Now let's talk about modern addiction: scrolling, pornography, shopping, gambling, doom-scrolling news, constant productivity obsession. People say, "I just feel the urge." Zeno would respond, "Urge is not command. You experience impressions constantly." The difference between a disciplined mind and a chaotic one is simple. One questions impressions, the other obeys them. And here's the hard truth. Your brain has been trained by algorithms to react. Outrage content, shock headlines, emotional triggers. Every notification is an impression. Every red badge is a stimulus. But you still assent. You still choose. The Stoic does not blame the stimulus. He strengthens the judge. Zeno believed that living according to nature means aligning with rational order. Nature gave you impulse, but it also gave you reason to govern it. If you ignore reason, you degrade yourself. That sounds harsh, but think about it. What separates a wise leader from a tyrant? Impulse control. What separates a stable person from a volatile one? Impulse control. What separates long-term success from self-sabotage? Impulse control. Zeno understood that mastering impulse is mastering destiny. Now here's something uncomfortable. Many people don't want control over impulse. They want justification. They want to say, "I'm passionate. I'm emotional. I'm just real." But being reactive is not authenticity. It is lack of training. Zeno would never suppress emotion blindly. He would examine it. Because Stoicism is not about becoming cold. It is about becoming accurate. If anger is rational and aligned with virtue, it may have a place. But most anger is ego-defending illusion, and ego-driven impulse is chaos. Let's explore another concept from Zeno: oikeiosis. The idea that humans naturally move towards self-preservation and then towards social harmony. In simple terms, you are wired to care for yourself, and eventually to care for others. But impulse can corrupt that. Self-preservation becomes selfishness. Social belonging becomes tribal aggression. Confidence becomes arrogance. The natural instinct is not the problem. The interpretation is. Zeno's philosophy demands that you refine your impulses so they align with virtue, wisdom, justice, courage, moderation, not appetite, not ego, not dominance. Modern example: you get criticized publicly. Impulse says, attack back, expose them, win the argument. But ask, does retaliation align with wisdom? Does it align with justice? Does it strengthen character? Or does it just protect ego? If your action is driven by ego defense, you are not living by reason. You are living by reflex, and reflex is easy. Mastery is rare. Here's the daring truth. Your life is the result of your repeated assents. Every time you say yes to laziness, you become lazier. Every time you say yes to discipline, you become stronger. Every time you say yes to resentment, you become bitter. Impulse builds identity, not in one dramatic moment, but in thousands of tiny approvals. Zeno would say, guard your assent like a fortress, because once you approve a thought, you empower it. Now imagine this level of awareness. Someone insults you. Instead of reacting, you observe the impression. This is harmful. You test it. Is it truly harmful to my character? Or only to my pride? You withhold assent. Anger dissolves. That is power, not suppression, not avoidance, but rational clarity. And in a world addicted to emotional reaction, clarity is revolutionary. Zeno's philosophy on impulse teaches 3 core modern lessons. First, you are not your first reaction. You are your chosen response. Second, every impulse contains a hidden belief. Examine it. Third, freedom exists in the gap between impression and assent. That gap is small, but train it daily and it becomes wide enough to transform your entire personality. Let me challenge you. The next time you feel the urge to check your phone, argue online, prove someone wrong, buy something unnecessary, seek validation, explode in anger, pause, ask, what am I approving right now? If you cannot answer, you are living unconsciously. Zeno's Stoicism is about radical awareness, and radical awareness is uncomfortable because it removes excuses. But here is the reward. When you master impulse, you cannot be manipulated by outrage media. You cannot be controlled by praise. You cannot be baited by insult. You cannot be enslaved by craving. You become internally sovereign. And sovereignty is the ultimate power, not dominance over others, dominance over self. Zeno of Citium built Stoicism on this foundation. Human nature is rational. Impulse must be guided. Assent is freedom. Virtue is the goal. If you align with this, your life becomes stable. Not because chaos disappears, but because you stop reacting blindly to it. So here's your mission. For the next 24 hours, observe your impulses. Don't suppress them. Study them. Notice what you automatically approve. That awareness alone will begin to change you. And if this challenged your assumptions, if this exposed your reactions, if this made you uncomfortable, good. That means growth has begun. Subscribe to Stoic Gateway, where we don't chase comfort, we build inner authority through ancient wisdom applied to modern chaos. And now, watch the next video on your screen. How to train the mind. Because mastering impulse is step 1. Mastering your entire inner world is next. Welcome to Stoic Gateway.